Hello, je suis contente de vous retrouver aujourd'hui pour vous montrer comment j'ai réalisé cette robe pour mon anniversaire dans un tissu en tulle brodé avec des marguerites, avec des manches ballons et une jupe très évasée qui commence juste en dessous de la poitrine. C'est parti pour vous montrer tout ça.
Here is a sketch of the dress I want to realize for my birthday. So it's quite inspired by the brand Selkie. So as you can see, I want a skirt, a dress really flared with puff sleeve, but if it looks too much I will just go with simple straps. We will see. I would like to gather the middle of my breast like that, so it will make a nice neckline, but we will see because I'm gonna work really by steps. First I'm working on the skirt, and as you can see the skirt I want it to start just under my breast, and I want something really flared. So to make this skirt I'm making a full circle pattern. So this is the sketch of the pattern here, just this part up here. So as you can see here on my pattern making book, there is different technique. It depends how flared you want your skirt, but since me I want really flared, that's why I'm going for the full circle pattern here. And it's gonna look even hopefully more flared because I'm gonna gather the waist as well. So here is normally the waistline, but since me my skirt is gonna start under my breast, it's gonna be the line the line under my breast, so I'm just gonna call it, I guess, the skirt line. So this is that here, and I need to calculate the radius. So there is some application you can find online who make you calculate the radius, but if not, you just need to know the perimeter of the circle. It's not that complicated. So with my value of my skirt line, I will need a radius of 11 centimeter, but I doubled this number, so it gave me 22 centimeter. So it will be really flared, and I will be able to gather my waist. Here you have the length of my skirt, so I want 58 centimeter. And I'm gonna cut this part in 4 to have my full circle pattern. I hope it makes sense. So my pattern is here. Of course it doesn't include this part here. I just kept this part right now in case I don't have enough fabric for this really full pattern here, but I think I will be fine. That's why I keep it in case I will just go buy something shorter. I cut this in 4 times in my fabric here, in my pretty fabric here. And then I will take care of the lining later because I will probably not have enough fabric to cut that many pieces in the lining, so I will probably go buy something much smaller for the lining, but I will take care of that later. First I need to take care of my pretty fabric, so let's go cut 4 times this pattern. And I forgot to mention, but of course I added 1 centimeter here. I didn't add 1 centimeter here, but that will be fine since I will have way too much than what I need. But here I also added 2 centimeter for making the hem later. I'm not so sure which finish I will make, but I will find out later. So I started to work on my skirt. So I oversew 2 pieces together because instead of making French seam, I thought oversewing would have looked nice, and I think it looks pretty cute on the tulle. I think it makes a good finish. Up, and then I just pin those 2 pieces to see how it's gonna look like. And now I'm gonna keep over sewing all the pieces together, front side against front side. That's what the future skirt is gonna look like. So I've been working on it off camera. So first I work on the tulle, the tulle with the embroidery on it. And so I sew all the part together. I left an opening, as you can see here, up at the back, because I'm gonna finally I decided to add a zip at the middle back here. So I left up everything open here. Then I gather the waist. Well, it's not really the waist, but where my skirt is gonna start. So I did the same thing in my lining here. So I didn't use the same pattern for the lining. What I did is I did something much simpler. I cut 50 centimeters in the length of my fabric. So then I had a big rectangle. I just gathered. So I made something super simple. Later on, I will make sure the gathers are right and add this good line, because there is always a difference from my body and the dress form. I will probably gather to have, so my line on my body was 74 centimeters, but to be comfortable, I will probably gather to have like, I think I decided to have like 78 centimeters. 40 centimeters will be maybe a lot. But I like to be comfortable in my clothes, so I think I will go for it. Or maybe just 2 centimeters extra. I will see that after, what I feel comfortable to gather with at the end. So I'm pretty happy how this skirt is looking like right now. But I think there is not quite enough volume yet. So I want to try with the tulle I have here to add a layer to make it a lot more puff. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna also do something really simple. I'm just gonna do a rectangle. I'm gonna gather and we'll see how it looks like when I gather all that. So let's work on this. And then I could sew my 3 layers together if with the tulle it was good, of course. So I just had in my layer of tulle, and I think it looks a lot more poof like this. I really love how flare now the skirt looks like. I'm pretty pleased with it. So then I made a top stitch with the 3 layers, including the 3 layers here, and also oversew, so it looks clean. And I oversew up the edge at the middle back too. I didn't close the edge yet because I don't know yet where the zip will stop, since I don't know the length of my future top of my skirt here, of my dress. So I left it open like that for now. I will close it later. So now I'm gonna work at the top of my dress, and I'm gonna self-craft it. So what I know is I want to gather, and it's gonna be kind of small, and I'm gonna work on that on my dress form. This is what it looks like right now. So first I work on the shape of my top here. So I made something really simple. I put my tulle, a piece of tulle over my piece of cotton, and I gather just a little bit, leaving some extra to be sewn with the skirt later on. And then I top stitch so my gather stays still, and I think it looks really cute like this. So it's not the definitive shape, but this is pretty much how it's gonna look like. I'm really happy how it looks like right now. Hopefully it will look good on me, because sometimes I didn't fit it on me yet, and sometimes there is a difference between the dress form and my own body. Then later on, I will take it off from my dress form and I will work that on that on the table to make sure it's symmetric and the shape is good. Then, as you can see, up there is no finishing right now. I'm thinking right now to have the same, to add a lining in white cotton inside, so I could have a clean finish just like this, pretty much. Or maybe I will go to some lazy tie, just like I did on the sleeve here. I will see what I'm going for later. Up for the back, I just made something really simple. Well, it's not so straight yet, I have to work on that later on my table. But I'm going for a band of fabric really straight like that. Really simple. I will just have to open it here, so I could add a zip here. Then for the sleeve, I'm so happy. I already saw one, and I'm just so happy because it finally looks like the puff sleeve of my dreams. It's really hard to get the right pattern for those really extra puff sleeve, but I've finally found a pattern for it. I thought at first I would have altered a pattern I already have before, which was not as extra puff sleeve, but I would have just altered it to make it super extra. But then when I was looking at my pattern, I remember I have this pattern, which is a vintage pattern I bought on Etsy, and it's from 1987. And I think it's a little bit inspired from the Lady Diana's wedding dress. The sleeve remind me of her dress. And here is the pattern, so I'm using this pattern instead, so it's much quicker. So I cut twice of the sleeve in the tulle and twice in the white polyester cotton here, which is kind of the lining. So it won't be see-through. So here, so first I'm gonna top stitch the tulle on my white cotton at maybe like 5 mm all around, and then I will have to close the sleeve with an open stitch. Then I will open the stitch with my hand up, as you can see, and I also oversew the edge of it. So I'm gonna make up this stitch here, and then I just have to gather all the head of the sleeve here and all the bottom of my sleeve too. And then what I did to have a good finish, I added this little last detail here. I just top stitch, and I think it looks really good. It looks super good like that. I'm really happy how it looks like right now. And I did the same at the bottom, and I'm gonna do the same one for this second sleeve. The preparation for stitching the lace detail on the bottom of my sleeve. So up, I just pin it, and I have to sew just here on this little line here, and that will look good. And I have to make sure to hide the gathers, so that will look good. The part for my top looks like, hopefully it's fine. I really need to fit that to make sure it's all right. I really hope so. So this is the front and this is the back here. I top stitch a tulle on it. So I have to sew the front with the back, the side stitch up like that here. Same to the other side at 1 cm up like this. And then for later on, here I also cut all my lining part, and here I will have at the middle front to gather here to have this result. Hopefully it's gonna turn out good. It's quite tight, but I think it will be good like that. It will keep my brace well tied and my top won't fall off. So before to add the lining on this part, I'm gonna sew this to the skirt. So up this line here, the bottom of the top with the top of the skirt, front size, again front size at 1 centimeter. This is what the stitch look like inside my garment. So I'm gonna over sew up this stitch so it's gonna be more clean because all the layers are not over sew together. Then I'm gonna sew the lining here, and then I could reignite, and then I could sew the lining to the top like this. I will sew the top of my top front size, again front size, so it will look more clean. So the lining of my top, so up I put it back in the inside of my garment. I also did a top stitch while putting the sewing line towards the lining, this top stitch here. That way the lining stays still inside my garment, up like that, so I'm happy it looks pretty clean. I left 1 centimeter here, so then I could make a hand stitch hem when the zip will be sewn here. Then up, I could fold it like that, and then that will be look clean. Now I'm gonna sew the sleeve to my garment, so it's already pinned both sides, and I'm gonna sew a total of 10 centimeters like that, just a stitch, really simple. And then I will just have to sew my zip on the middle back, and that will be almost done. I will just need some unstitch, and that will be done after. Just done the last stitch, so I sew my back and also the zip. Well, this is not 100% perfect, but I think it's still correct. Well, I hope so. We won't see too much my mistake. I'm a little bit sad because there is we can't see because the zip, I opened the zip, but there was like, it's 5 millimeter of difference. It's a little bit like that. Hopefully when I wear it we won't notice it too much. I really need to get better at sewing zip. I hate to sew zip. Now what I have to do is just to finish. I just have to unsew, so as you can see my lining here like that. I will just make an end stitch at 1 centimeter, and I'm gonna hand stitch up all around, so then my lining will stay still in the inside of my garment. And I'm also gonna end stitch here up the zip. It's gonna go in the inside and like that, so it will look good as well. It's a perfect girly dress for my birthday. I'm so happy, even if I wish it was more perfect.